Welcome back to the Jamie O. Mason Ho Show. We got Griffin Colapinto here. Super psyched to have you, brother.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. That kind of goes well, that little rhyme right there.
You like that?
Yeah, I kind of fit into this whole thing.
I know. You started looking at me funny. I was like, did I just pronounce your last name wrong?
You just killed it.
Jamie Ho, Mason Ho Show, Griffin Colapinto.
Dude, that was pretty sick.
Yeah.
I like that. I missed that last part.
Yeah. Start rapping over here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Griff.
Yeah, Mace.
What up, bro?
Thanks
for
having me.
coming.
Yeah, that Jack podcast was great. We got you in there at the end of that, but I think people have been kind of waiting for this one too. That was like kind of a perfect storm. That was like overlapping when we were trying to do 2 podcasts in one day. Me and Mason only maybe. Have we ever did 2 podcasts in one day yet?
No.
No, yeah.
Maybe one.
It's like when all these guys come
Just
in.
you and me.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
We
went back to
one
back.
and then with Lucas.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
No, because like when all these guys come into town, like they're only here for a certain amount of time, and then obviously don't want to like bother you guys during the event. That way you guys can focus and do what you want. But then also by the time the event's over, these guys are like jumping on a plane. They're straight out of here. Like some guys hang around, but like it's hard to like kind of grab them before they leave. Like you're like, hey, can you do this podcast? They're like, oh, I'm already on the plane right now, bro.
They're like, I already got the trophy. I'm out.
Yeah.
Straight to Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
That's where you guys go after this, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. Are you psyched? Is wave a
Psyched.
little bit bigger?
It's about the same, just a little different intricacies, but about the same.
Better than Lemoore?
That's sick.
I don't know. It's just different.
Overall vibes better, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I like Lamar. I like won the contest last time I was there, so
You're
I
easily.
can't really like
Yeah.
talk shit on Lamar.
No, that's right. No, I think
You're easily one of my favorites in the pool, Griff.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Can't wait to watch you in Abu Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
You know what's sick? After he won the contest, I FaceTime. I was like, I'll just FaceTime him real quick. And he answered. He's like, yeah.
Oh,
That was sick.
you're the man, bro.
I love people that answer their phones real quick for the boys.
Right.
Oh,
In
I
the
like
critical
phone calls
time.
way more than text.
Okay.
I'll do that all day.
A little more.
Text, I'll like take a couple of days to respond.
Sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that.
I'm pretty fast on text, but phone calls sometimes are hard to answer. I don't know why. Just so much stuff going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think, you know, I don't really know. But anyways,
That was awesome.
sorry, I just had a brain fart.
you
So
did that when I was psyching on the way you guys were opposites about the responding to people. I was like,
Oh,
this
yeah,
is so
yeah,
sick.
yeah.
And you're like, and I was like, yes,
That's why
double
it's
whammy.
a good topic though too, because a lot of people are different.
Everyone's
that way.
different. Yeah. I'm like a mix of both. I'll blow it with both and kill it with both.
bro,
sometimes.
this guy's the biggest wild card sometimes. I'm like sometimes he won't like respond to me all day. I'm like, I know he saw this message already, but I'm like, where is this guy? And then he'll make some crazy excuse of why he can't
It's
show up.
not
to
a
help me with
crazy
the
though. It's
podcast.
you've seen. Okay, we've been working together long enough. Right? This ain't are my excuses. They're not even. They might be crazy, but it's not even an excuse. It's for real. What happened, man? Like, it's not. I'm not even making excuses anymore. It's literally like. I swear, I could tell you what's happened today, and you'd be like, yeah, right, bro. You're just fucking bullshitting. But yeah, no, I do go wild card. I think sometimes with you on the texts, because sometimes you'll text me. I'll be like, hey. I gotta get this back to Jamie ASAP, you know, and then sometimes I'll just space it for some reason, because sometimes I'll be like, okay, I want to get this right. But I do get proud of myself when I'm just instantly right back to you, because you're such a businessman, and I respect your work ethic, and you're my good friend, you know, too.
Thanks.
So on a business standpoint and a friend, you know, I feel good when I get right back to you.
Yeah.
Balls back in your court, brother.
and then another 6 hours, nothing. I'm like, where is
No, and
this?
then you'll hit me
Where
right
did that
back.
go?
I'll be like, damn it, bro, I can only be on it for so long, bro. Let me just go on my vacation for another 12 hours.
No.
No.
I got a question. So I noticed this year, I mean, maybe it was last year too, but you're wearing a helmet at Pipeline.
Yes.
Super psyched to see as a fellow, like, you know, Red Bull athlete for whatever. Like, yeah, we're wearing our Red Bull helmets, but also, you know, Oakley like pushing the envelope on making such an incredible helmet for the surfers. How's that been feeling wearing a helmet at Pipe? Are you psyched on it? Are you kind of over it? Like, what's your thoughts?
No, I'm super psyched on it. I was a part of the process of helping design that helmet with Oakley. Like they were having
sick.
a lot of calls with some of the athletes and asking them questions, like
Okay.
what they liked or what we thought could be better with helmets and stuff. And it was cool to like be a part of that. And I remember one of the things I was like super adamant about was having those like slits in the helmet.
Yep.
And because a lot of times the ones that don't have that, they don't really like penetrate the water very well. And
Yeah.
just like bounce off and skip down the face. So, and then
Whoa.
the way that they've done it is awesome because it looks pretty cool and it's super comfortable with that thing in the back that tightens up.
Yep.
But yeah, I wore it at Chopu and I actually had a harder time wearing it there because I felt like when you get so much speed in the barrel there, like even more speed than pipeline, and if you hit the foam ball or something or come out like head first super fast and go head first in the water with the helmet,
Yeah.
I felt like it would tweak my neck like super hard. Like it almost didn't even matter like what helmet it was. It was like that was always going to be the case.
Yep.
Where at pipeline, you don't really end up falling that way out there. So I feel that the helmet works really good at pipe, and it's like
Perfect.
and I'm getting to a point where like I don't even notice it. So it's kind of a no brainer out there.
That's like for me too, like with that new helmet, like it went from like, we've been wearing this same Gath helmet for the last 35 years. Like Tom Carroll wore the same Gath helmet the year he did the snap at Pipeline. And you're like, wow, that guy wears a helmet. He's super smart. And then I actually asked Tom somewhat recently and I go, why do you wear a helmet, Tom? And he goes, Jamie, like I was surfing pipe winter with one of my buddies and he was just charging so hard and like we were just doing our thing and I ended up leaving him, but he was like one of my favorite like North Shore underground chargers. Like he wasn't from the North Shore, like California surfer. And he goes, I heard he got in a bad surfing accident while I was back in Australia and doing the tour and whatnot. And then I didn't see him for a couple of years. And then he paddled out at Pipeline and I saw him and I was like, oh, no, actually he's like, oh, I saw him at sunset. And he goes, and then Tom looks over, he's like, what's up? How you been? He goes, Tom. And he apparently suffered some crazy brain injuries. And that moment right there, Tom Carroll was like, all right, I'm going to wear a helmet for the rest of my life. Surfing waves of consequences. And he's like, ever since that day, I saw one of the most like uplifting people that I ever knew. And I love surfing and sharing the lineup with, like just damaged forever. Like he's like, I just forever gonna wear a helmet. And I was like, whoa, that was pretty nuts. But like growing up as a young kid on the North Shore, like I've seen so many head injuries, so many people drown, but like now I'm like super psyched to wear the helmet. Like, it's like, it adds more confidence to what I'm doing. And I'm super, I'm like super psyched when I see you in the lineup the other day. I'm like paddling out. I'm like, oh, sick. Who's in the Red Bull helmet? Oh, Griff, sick. Oh, there's freaking, Jack and, there's Yagadora and like everyone's starting to wear helmets. I'm like, oh, sick. Like the movement is now. And like before, like those Gath helmets, I would literally like pin drop, like jump over the falls at Pipe, pin drop, and the thing would just bloat full of air, and it would go straight back over the falls. So it was like almost like this like thing where it was like way more dangerous wearing a helmet. And for a while, like I was like kind of on the fence, but kind of figured my helmet out a little bit better. But then the new helmets came out. I was like, these are as good as they get. And now we're trying to get Mason to wear one.
Dude, I got mine on right now.
Yeah, the mop's looking good.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. How did you get comfortable surfing Pipeline like at such a young age, coming from San Clemente? Like it must have been scary, like paddling out in the lineup and trying to find your like little spot out there.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I started with the Moniz brothers.
Okay, that's good.
Instantly, like they took me under their wing.
Yep.
So I felt that like extra confidence because being with them and their families got such an amazing reputation over here and stuff. So kind of had that like extra confidence. And then staying at the Billabong house just would just, I always heard like, oh, Kelly would only surf Pipeline when he was on the North Shore. And I was like, well, that's what you got to do. I'm just going to surf pipe.
Yep.
That's what the best surfer in the world did. So I just go out there every day that I was there, any day that it was breaking, just like, I'd sit at Aints pretty much. That was kind of the only spot I could get waves.
Wide bowl backdoor, like super wide, but then score a couple mean deep lefts.
Not even really getting lefts at that point. I mean, it took me probably till I was like 18 or 19 to start getting lefts.
Yeah.
I actually have like a super vivid memory of me like sitting at the Aints Bowl and like you just got a sick backdoor wave. And I was like kind of paddling and you were like probably 15 yards out from me, like paddling back out. And I would like kind of like look over at you and like try and see if like maybe we would catch eyes and I could like say hi. Yeah. I was always kind of nervous.
Yeah.
And then like you kind of maybe like No, I don't even think you would look, and you just like kept focusing on going back out the lineup. But
We didn't even lock eyes.
no, we never did.
Well, I mean, in my mind, probably I'm like, bro, I'm not gonna lock eyes or start conversation with any of these guys because the next thing you know, they're gonna like try and weasel a wave off of me.
Oh, exactly.
You knew what you were doing.
That's
That's
what
why I
he's
was
trying
trying
to
to do it. But no, actually, I think I got third in the Vulcan Pipe Pro when I was like 16 or 17.
Yep.
And then you like commented on my post, like you were all psyched, like congrats and
Yeah.
stuff. For me, that meant a lot. So
Sick.
it's
That was
cool.
sick. No, I remember that. No, because I always like try and pay attention, like who's surfing good out there, and like there's one thing to surf good out at Pipeline, like like in a free surf, but like to then turn it into like this competitive mode and like actually make the finals at Pipe, it's like a huge respect. So every time, like it's like pretty much every time some guys make the final, I'm like, boom, I'm following them, I'm commenting, I'm in, bro. Like if this guy is that much of a badass to make the final. And I remember you like being super young. I'm like, bro, who's this San Clemente kid? Like, I didn't lock eyes with you in the lineup, but like, boom, that like kind of caught my attention. I was like, oh, that's sick, bro. In the finals, that's a hard task to do.
Thank you.
And you got third?
Yeah, I got third.
Did that piss you off?
I remember that.
Yeah, I solely Bailey won that one.
Oh yeah.
But
Waves are pumping.
yeah, I kind of was like fumbling the final, but so that pissed me off. I didn't really find like a good one, but yeah. And then ever since and then I got third in the actual CT event one year, and the waves weren't that great, but I kind of just like I never got really over like a 7 the whole event, and I ended up getting third.
Consistency.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it.
But then like before and after, I just still haven't like found my mojo out there in the contest.
Yeah.
So I was coming up the hill, like, I want to ask these guys a question. And I was thinking like the times that you guys surfed events out there, the events that you had where you felt like you were in the best flow and you were doing the best, like how are you starting the heats?
Usually start off real hot. You'll like fight for that position that like someone else is trying to fight for, like that positioning. That's where I always feel like I like end up giving in. I'm like, oh, whatever. If you want to be the deep guy, go ahead. And I felt like that's worked against me a lot to where that guy usually like kind of nails that first score. Like, that Adriano mindset of like, I'm going to be the deepest. I'm going to catch the first wave. And like, I don't know, maybe not every time it works, but I feel like usually if you could be on the peak and set the pace that I'm going to be the deepest guy, and then you start off the heat with an 8, I think you're just kind of cruising. Then you're like, oh, relax, bro. I just need another freaking 6 or a 7 and I'm freaking through this heat. And like, I don't know. Sometimes like heats like kind of come your way. The waves keep coming and you're in the right rhythm. I think it's a lot of rhythm. Mm-hmm. I think now everyone has the talent to like be really good at Pipeline, and it's even harder and harder. It's every year is getting harder and harder to win an event at Pipeline, and it's just the talent's just going through the roof. So I think a little momentum, holding your spot in the lineup, and just being like, I'm not gonna let this guy paddle deeper than me, and you're gonna like mentally mind fuck this guy so he cannot paddle past you. That's just my 2 cents. What about you, Mace?
I love that.
That's a sick one. Well, you said a lot of like the key things to win a heat, right? Is like you most of the time want to get that first exchange, because that'll make everything nice and easy on your brain. It kind of turns fun from there. Mm-hmm. So the first exchange is really key, I've noticed, when you do good out there, but also that doesn't always happen. I'm sure when you compete, you can't always get the first exchange and always get like a really nice one. And so I've noticed, the times I do good out there, to be honest, is when I remember, like, sometimes I'll be so happy to surf a heat, so excited and so even confident that, like, whatever, like, I'll just be like just so whatever that I'll forget to kind of like really feel it, sometimes I forget, like, hey, it's like, this is Pipeline, or this is like a very special event. It's not just like another event, it's Pipeline. It's like, it's a dream event, So sometimes a little before, I'll try to dig a little deep, or make it fun, and kind of look at the guy I'm against and just stare at it, or just stare and just be like, who really wants this more? Like whether he gets the first exchange, him or me, I don't give a F, like you just, I like to look at him and go, who wants this more, him or me? And usually I'm always thinking it's me, which I'm sure I think you could almost look at anyone on there, and convince yourself, if you don't already think it, who wants this more? Because like you said, it's always been a dream, and
For sure.
used to do it like Slater, so
Yeah.
I don't know, just kind of look at everyone and just go, hey, I who wants this more? And just know you want it more. And then I swear right there, sometimes the ocean will connect with you. Like I know Jamie probably does this a lot, because he even admitted in the other one, he paddles out looking at everyone who's out here, and he starts manifesting. Yeah, like you were saying.
Yeah.
But it's almost like you almost want to just, I don't know, this is what I like to do, is I look at the guy and go, who wants it more? And then I like break it down why I want it more. And just for fun. And it's not even game time yet, but I'm already like, whoo, I'm fucking having fun. This guy's done. And then he'll kind of look, and then I'll just I'm really grinning in the heart, but you're not, and then the heat's on, and then you go at it, and maybe it's like a last minute win or something. But I feel like if you just, I don't know how nuts or deep you get. I'm sure you get nuts and deep mentally, and because I see you already performance wise, you get as nuts as it gets from what I see. So I don't know if you just give it like a little look at everyone and just, I remember Andy used to say he used to like shark. He used to just get in the water, and it feels like a shark, like a fin would just come out of his back, and guys would just be a little scared of him. Like maybe look at him and like, yeah, like even lip a little bit, but he'd just be like, I know, I could hear it under their voice. They don't want none. Or they don't got enough to take me. So maybe if you went out with that, just sorry everyone, like, I don't care if it's opening or not, I'm fucking ending it, or whatever. and then maybe, I don't know, maybe that's the next little fucking happy moment.
All right, real quick, a word from our sponsors, Bear Mattress. Honestly, I just had a Bear mattress delivered to my house, and it's been absolutely incredible. I got to tell you, I've been sleeping so good every night, and sleep is the most important part of waking up the next day and just going surfing and absolutely ripping, because sleep is everything, and a bed is everything. It will just kind of like lay out your whole next day. I've been sleeping like a champ. Tina's loving the bed. We are enjoying the Bear mattress. And, from being on the go all the time, from surfing and just doing all my activities throughout the day, I feel like Bear Mattress is the perfect complement to what I'm doing. It is an absolute game changer. I used to wake up with like a sore shoulder, like, cause I always sleep on my side with my arm out to the side. But like with this Bear Mattress, been sleeping absolutely incredible. This is no joke. Bear Mattress are the best in the game. And the best part about it is I wake up more psyched than ever, because, a good sleep, and then I'm just fired up for the day. Psyching levels are through the roof. Recovery is through the roof, and we're ready to take on the next day. So if you're ready to level up your sleep, go to bearmattress.com. Yes, bearmattress.com. Use promo code JOB. It's that simple at checkout, and get 40% off site-wide. This offer is not available anywhere else. You have to use my promo code on the very last page of the checkout to get the discount. They're hooking you up, so you're going to want to make sure you do that. That's bearmattress.com and use promo code JOB for 40% off site-wide. Bearmattress.com. Use promo code JOB. But maybe how about this one though? Like in my mind over time, like I've been like kind of riding a little bit thicker boards, a little bit longer, just because, not like Mason Ho long. So like, like let's just say normally maybe I should probably be on a 6'7", but normally I've been riding
6'9".
Yeah. Like I'll ride a 6'9", a little bit more literage, because
That's what I used to do too.
Because what you need to do at Pipeline is you need to get from point A to point B fast. It doesn't matter if you add, just a couple liters to your board or another half a liter. But if it helps you paddle, you can get in the wave early. You can get back on the spot earlier. You can out paddle battle someone on the wave.
Especially
back
with
out.
The time limit. Yeah. It's like you really got to get to
with
A
the
to
time
B.
limit. So I almost think you need, in theory, different boards to surf these competitions on. And then when
maybe a little bigger,
I'm in a heat, this guy's on this guy's on a 7'6", bro. I'm like,
that's
okay.
why I'd use those. Those heats was the cheat around. I remember a couple times the guy would kick out on the wave behind, or I'd get the wave behind the guy, and he'd already be paddling out, but I'd have the bigger board, so you're just by him or close, or I don't know, or maybe it's close, but you get him even though you're more tired. Little bigger board sometimes is nice out there, because you already know how to draw the line, and you know how to position. And so maybe, and like Jamie said, maybe don't go too over the top, like the sizes I like, but maybe you go a little bigger than your usual, but you do this.
Like you could question, like if you're questioning, like, oh, like 6'4",
Bingo.
6'5",
Go bigger.
you just
Bingo.
go 6'5".
100%.
Bingo.
Yeah.
It's that's a
I would-
real
I would-
good tip right
Oh,
there.
that's the best tip I can ever
For you
give you
guys.
at Pipeline. And like
I'd
him,
agree.
yeah. And then for Mason, for me, I'm like, dude, he's 5'6". He's riding a 7'6". That's like the equivalent of me riding a
8-0 or something.
yeah, like an 8'0", bro. This guy just like got the zoomies around the line. It was like, bro, he's like every paddle battle, done deal, bro.
I
He
love
wins
those
it,
paddle
bro.
battles, the longboard. Yeah. Without that thing, I'm done.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good one, Jamie. That's probably the best tip possible. Like
Yeah.
the maybe like what you said, if you're contemplating, if you're truly like, 6'4" or 6'5", it's like, bro, go 6'5" every time, you know?
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Do you
love
get
that.
in?
I'm gonna take that in.
Do you get in
like
your
that.
head about that? You're like kind of like, 6'4", 6'6", like
Well, the last year I felt like was the first year where I was like, I'm going a little longer this time.
yeah.
And my first heat paid off super good. I got an 8.5 and it was big.
Oh, I
Yeah.
remember that thing.
And then I lost in round 4,
Mhm.
I think, to Ian Gentile. And it was like shoulder high backdoor and like kind of shitty. So
But you made a
hard
good
to-
decision early that paid off. And then
Mhm.
now you're kind of contemplating probably coming here like, like if the waves are a little bit bigger. Like I always think
Sticking
like,
to it.
because like in my mind, when I paddle out to pipe or backdoor, and if it's 4 to 6, I already know there's gonna be an 8-footer. I don't want to be on the board that's for 4 to 6. I want to be on that board when that 8-footer comes. I'm gonna
Yeah.
catch that thing because like the last thing you want to do is be like just sliding into the wave, barely making it, and then coming off the bottom with no speed in the barrel. You want to just be the first one to it and the first one down it, and you're gonna execute like the perfect wave.
yeah. I love that. Thank you. I appreciate both your guys'
Sick question.
wisdoms because I liked what you were saying about like who wants it more.
Look
Yeah.
at him.
You know?
Convince yourself. Yeah, yeah.
Because I definitely feel like I
You
wanted it more for a
than-
long time.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And
That's
and
why you're on
Jamie
the
too,
tour.
like because a lot of times at pipe, when I start my heats out there, I'm kind of getting this like, I don't know, like I want to wait for like this psycho wave, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And so I kind of just like let everyone just do their thing, and then I'm like, okay, I'll just wait, you know, and then.
You kind of have.
But I think like battling for that deepest position to start, and then like getting like at least like a 6 or like
Yeah.
even like
Yeah.
a 4 sometimes,
Yeah.
right?
or make it tough for the other guy even.
And then you can go
sometimes
hunting.
you're kind of like, if it's not a good one, I'll just let him go. Then he gets his 7 off the bat. Be like, no, you know what? I'm gonna F with him a little bit, or I might want it too a little more today,
Yeah.
and then you mess him up, and you're like, whoops, and I'm waiting now, I'm good. Or you swipe it and do what Jamie said. You get the 7.
I just start hunting after I get one good one and my priority just kind of drops. I just start looking for that back door, that weird
Yeah.
like wide one that pushes wide at
the
pipe
wide one.
that they're not even going to be in position for.
Ah,
I've won
Yeah.
so many heats like that, like on my way back out, but not paddling all the way back out to the peak, knowing that I'm not like going to be on the next wave, or even like coming back out at back door and just boom, I got an 8 and I paddled back out, I got a 7. I'm like, boom, freaking heat's like kind of wrapped up and like,
Griff knows
You know?
those.
Yeah.
I've seen him do that.
what about if it's like no backdoor waves and it's mostly pipeline and you have last priority? Like where are you
Oh,
sitting?
you lucky still if it's that good. Yeah.
I'm gonna sit under them and try and get like, cause like pipe you could get like an 8 or a 10 footer, but you could also get an 8-footer. Sometimes it looks like a 6-footer that throws like
Oh, yeah.
wider. So then there's sometimes like there's these like inside waves that load up at pipe that are like
Yeah.
they end up becoming like incredible waves, and
The
you're like.
icon.
Yeah, and like me and Mason will be waiting out the back on a normal free surf, and then like we're like, wait, what? Eli Hanneman caught that wave? Like, oh, I remember seeing him paddle for that, but then you're like, you look at the clip and you're like, oh, that was like one of the best waves of the session. So like,
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of like, you know, like when you do have priority, you're like really trying to wait it out, but then in between the priority, you're just kind of just sitting lightly inside, like
Wider too, or more just underneath?
just a
the
little
spot?
under. So like to me, like when I like I say when I paddle at the pipe, I'm like looking around. I'm like, okay, like Mason's here, Koa's here, this guy's here. How do I outfox the foxes out here? And it's only gonna be like a 5-foot difference of positioning of like actually getting into the perfect spot. If you're 5 feet out of the position at pipe, like I'll give it to you, but you're not gonna make it.
Yeah.
But like if you're like where Mason is and Mason's in the perfect spot, I'm almost too deep and I probably shouldn't catch that wave. So it's like it's kind of like just trying to like, I guess not really make your own luck, but like trying to like, you know, make the difference that like this is not a good difference, but from me to Mason is a very, very strong difference of like, you're either in the right spot or the wrong spot, you know? And I'm in the wrong spot. Mason's in the perfect spot.
There's always those under the radar waves too. Yeah. That you know about, like those ones that kind of look small and they grow big, like the rights that Slater gets a lot. And then in the last shootout event, there was a couple waves that just look small. It's like, it's like a 3-4 footer. And like what he would say, it just all of a sudden it'd be the big, you'd see spit and be like, wait, was that like a really? And then you'd see the clip, be like, oh my God, that was like an 8 footer. So it's almost like you need to kind of like just read the ocean and know if it's one of those days. Cause you know, sometimes there's days where the waves look big and they're actually small.
Yeah.
And then sometimes there's those days where they're small, but they turn big on the rising swell. So you want to make sure you kind of know if it's a rising swell or a swell dropping. Because if it's rising, sometimes you want to look if some of those small ones are actually,
because that's when it's doubling up
ones.
more on the rising swells.
And then when it's dropping, you want to make sure it's going to be a little harder to get your waves. And it might look like the prettiest wave ever, but it might just shrink, you know? So you got to make sure like you got to be more calculated a little bit when it's like coming down, you know? That's going up, you could kind of be ready to pull the trigger a little more unnoticed.
Yeah, for sure. What other events besides like pipe, like after pipe's like done, like what are you looking forward to? Where's your favorite events on tour? Like where are you just like, you just can't wait to get to? Like obviously we were talking about Abu Dhabi. Are you just psyched to go to Abu Dhabi just for the experience and the wave and the whole vibe? Or like, are you already trying to think like, oh, I freaking just really want to qualify or not qualify, but like make the top 5 because I want to compete at Cloudbreak, because Cloudbreak's a very similar wave to Pipeline. And I feel like, you know, personally, I think you're just as good as anyone, if not better. You know, you, Jack, there's an elite group of like 10 people on the CT that can get the job done. So like, where do you look forward to like on the next stops on the CT?
Thank you. Probably, I feel like Snapper I look forward to a lot.
Is that on tour now?
Yeah, it hasn't been on for a while.
Oh, okay.
So it's back. So I'm pretty excited about that. And then Lowers is a normal event, which is super exciting.
Whoa, sick.
Yeah.
Portugal, I get pretty psyched for Portugal. And then Chopu, of course, is like just like waves of consequence for me. I feel like I've just put in like so much time and effort into it that like I'm just like, you know.
Yeah.
No, dude, that's super. It's super fun to watch though,
so
because
gnarly.
like because they come from like San Clemente. It's like this little
you
soft
rip
freaking
so
like
hard. Like it's sick. You're one of the top, like you said, you're one of the elite in those waves of consequence.
Yeah, for sure. And it must be
Super
hard,
sick.
bro. Like pushing yourself and pushing the envelope and like, you know, like knowing what's possible and what's not possible. Like, I mean, you have everything going for you in your life. And I just see you and your brother showing up early for like these like psycho like Tahiti swells. I'm like, oh, these guys are freaking nuts, brother. They're like really trying to figure out the lineup. Like I did see you put your years in at Pipeline, and did it pay off? 100%. But like, I just look at things and I'm like, oh, like if I put too much time in there, eventually I'm going to get hurt. And you're just like sending it. You and your brother, I'm just like,
Cross, yeah.
bro, I'm just like tripping out.
bones.
And then boom, Crosby gets hurt at like 5 foot back door. I'm like,
That thing was gnarly. That was like 10 foot back door still, that thing that got him. Yeah.
I saw
Really?
the thumbnambell on the YouTube video, but I don't think it was the same way.
Yeah,
He was
yeah.
going left or something. It was like, broke my elbow at pipe. Or
That
back
was one
door.
of those 5. You're right. It
No,
was
I
like
think
a
it was the
5 foot, 10
that
footer.
backdoor wave maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it didn't look anything crazy.
No.
Just like sucked the bottom. He said the
Yeah.
bottom just sucked out.
Yeah.
And boom.
Boom.
But this year I was like, okay, I'm like, I don't want to go super early this year.
Yeah.
Just kind of keep your body fresh. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? You must be super excited about Cloudbreak being the final 5, because I always thought now I'm sitting with you. I was thinking, wow, wait, this could be gnarly for you, because Cloudbreak's almost like a mix of pipe and trestles left, kind of like. And I feel like you do super good at pipe and you murder trestles left. So
Thank
it's
you.
like,
I love lowers left.
right?
Yeah.
So it's like, I feel like you just take over some Cloudbreak,
I'd be super
some
psyched
barrels
on
and
that.
slams.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Cloudbreak's one of my most favorite waves. So this is gonna sound selfish, but I was just like, right when they called the final 5 over there, I think they may have like 2 years in the book, hopefully not 5. And then I was like, oh, okay, I'm not gonna go to Cloudbreak. If there's another CT contest going on, then I'm gonna go to Cloudbreak, you know, during that CT contest. But like, I already know that every single CT surfer is going to be flying there for every single swell if there's no contest. So it's just going to be a lot more crowded with a lot more like of like just a tour competitors versus just kind of like I wouldn't say it. You know, you have the locals like Shay and James and all the like the super little local heroes over there. But besides that, it's kind of like a little lost land, bro.
Yeah, whoever pulls up, huh?
Yeah.
That's pretty sick.
Whoever the nutsest guy that paid all the money for a Taparua that really wants to send one, they're gonna get one. Dude, Tavi's nuts, bro.
Yeah.
Wave's heavy consequences, super perfect. Probably top 5 best waves in the world. I would put it in my like top 5 best.
Yeah.
What about you?
We went over there after the season ended this last year, and we went for like 10 days, I think.
Yeah.
Freaking best waves of my life.
It's insane.
Oh.
Yeah. Crazy spot.
It's crazy.
I didn't realize it's like that.
It's like pipe, but like twice as long, but way more perfect and a little bit more predictable.
Mm-hmm.
But then you got the
And
thunder.
rippable.
Then it's rippable, but then you got thunder cloudish kind of stuff. That right when it moves off the ledge, it starts getting gnarly, and you get these cleanup sets, and you'll never get such a heavy beat down in your whole life. Like Cloudbreak will just deliver you the best wave of your life and the worst beating of your whole life.
It's crazy how it does the pipeline thing, huh?
Yeah.
Where like there'd be like washy,
Second reef.
and then there'll be the double up.
Yeah. It does this. You're like sitting there, and it's like you could like literally see the ledge drop off, and then like maybe like 100 yards out, there's another ledge where when the 8-footer comes or the 10-footer comes, it breaks, and then it like washes, and you duck dive it, and it pulls you in a little further, and you duck dive the next one, it pulls you a little further, and then you duck dive the third one, or you bail it, and you're like, oh my gosh, like I can't take any more. And then it just sets you up for the nuclear one that just lands on your head. That's all whitewater. That's a top to bottom, like 8-foot apexer. And it just sends you straight into dry reef.
Oh my
It's a
God.
meltdown.
And then you don't see your buddy for like 30 minutes and he paddles back out. You're just like, dude, that was so gnarly.
Last time I surfed out there, I got slammed on the reef.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like cruising on the boat, and then I was about to go in, and some guy like broke his leg, pulled into one, broke his leg. I was just like, gosh, this place is heavy, bro. Like, I'm out of here. Kind of had to help the guy. Like, it was so gnarly.
So like the tour, like it has its like ups and downs, like, you know, like the highs of highs, the lowest of lows. Like, what can you explain to us, like some of the highest moments that you've ever had on tour, like winning events and like, or like competing against people, you know, like John or Kelly or Jack, that you're winning and you can't believe you're actually winning. And then, yeah, I just kind of want to talk about that before we talk about the lows as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For instance, my first year, the year I won my first ever CT event, that was like 3 years ago. Yeah, 3 years ago. And the first 2 events to start the season were Pipe and Sunset. Lost round 3, both of those. And the cut was after 5 events.
Ooh.
And then going into the Portugal contest, I was just like, oh my gosh, like I gotta like get something, you know, to like make this cut. Like super nervous about that and scared, and you know, just feeling that like fear, and you know, I started getting really like insecure, like, oh, do I even like belong here and stuff?
Whoa.
Like sitting in the lineup, like practicing, like felt like a little kid, and just you go through all those emotions, and those thoughts just like bombard you, and you're just like, you know, and like if you don't have like the tools to be able to notice that and be aware of that, that's just gonna take you over, and you're gonna go downhill, and you're gonna fall off tour, and it's over.
Yeah. And
so luckily for me, I've been able to like find the tools and have people to talk to about it, and free my mind. So then when I do go compete, I'm free, and I'm having fun. And that's what, to me, that's what leads to winning contests. And then of course all the years of hard work of, you know, trying to better your craft and like work on your weaknesses and stuff. But you know, at that level it just becomes so much more mental, because everyone's the levels like really can get pretty even sometimes, you know? And so what I've noticed actually is the events where I struggle the most mentally before, where I'm like the most nervous or most scared, are the events I've done the best.
Oh, trippy.
I've
I like
won.
it.
And I think it's because it makes me more aware of my thoughts, and more and makes me realize how present and aware, how important that is to be present and aware. And then that carries over. You're in a heat, and like you just are so like so much more in the moment, because you know you remember, you just realized how important that is. And so you're just like reacting to everything that's happening. All your decisions are very clear and decisive.
Yep.
And like that just leads to like, maybe you make a mistake, but then that mistake leads you into like getting this really good wave over here or something.
Yep.
And like that's that flow of contests. But
so first big win, like what was it like on the CT? Like were you like, whoa, I'm actually good enough? Like you like did it? Like can you explain it a little bit? Mm-hmm. Like the high of the high, like winning a contest as like a professional competitor. Like it's like one thing, like it's hard to make it's like hard to make it to the WCT World Championship Tour, but then like boom, once you're on, then it's like kind of pressure's on. Like you probably want to win an event at least once a year, maybe.
Yeah, no, for sure, 100%. And so when I won that contest, I didn't really get like flooded with like crazy emotion. I was kind of just like in this like, whoa, like everything felt like it was just like going in my favor, and I was just like doing everything right. So when I did win in that moment, like it was weird. It was like it's not what you like play it up to be. It's not what you like expect it to be when you're younger and stuff. Like, oh my God, I'm going to feel this like psycho feeling of like, tears of joy. Like I didn't have that. I was just like, oh, like that was really cool. You know,
it was your day.
Yeah. And it's
sick.
What I loved the most about that was like the party we got to have that night.
Yeah, that's like, the best part.
Yeah. And,
celebration.
We had like the sickest party ever at our house. My friend who was filming me at the time's a DJ, and like
no way.
Our team manager, Hef from Billabong at the time, he rented a DJ set, and at the place we were staying had like a downstairs dungeon.
Whoa.
And we got the DJ out. Cam got his computer and the decks going, and I just sent like a group chat to everyone on the WSL text, like, hey, we're having a rager if you guys want to come over. And then like Slater ended up showing up.
Sick.
And like a bunch of my friends from the tour, and like Kalohe was there. And,
that's so fun.
And Kelly like fully did this like nuts breakdance.
Whoa, your breakdance?
Yeah, full breakdance spin.
Trippy.
You got Slater pumped with your win. His fucking breakdancing, bro. I love it.
I also beat him in that contest too, and he like gave me his jersey and like signed the jersey.
Oh,
and
sick.
Like, he scalped me. Like,
whoa, so sick.
I was so psyched on that.
Oh,
that's epic.
And was this when you won the US Open?
No, the Portugal contest. My first CT.
That was when you were coming out off of the 2 losses here.
Yeah.
Whoa, trippy.
So you redeemed
needed that.
the darkness.
I needed that.
Came out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was like that. Yeah. Like
you
that
stomped
darkness.
a monster air, yeah?
Yeah.
Is that what happened?
Uh-huh.
I remember
10. Yeah,
watching
didn't you
that.
get a 10?
Insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, 10 on an air. That's the dream, bro.
10.
So sick.
I was psyching.
You know,
Good job.
you know-
Pope must have felt so special to win in Portugal.
Yeah.
I feel like that's such like a cool spot. Roots surfing.
It's kind of like California, actually.
Yeah.
Wetsuit. The weather's the same.
Yeah.
but way better.
It's almost like
waves.
Hawaii,
Yeah, that's-
California.
It's Hawaii, California, my 2 favorite
boxes.
spots.
Yeah.
Oh,
Come together.
cool. I like it.
Yeah.
I like
Dang,
it.
you nailed it, bro.
You know, it's kind of
Congrats.
trippy. Yeah. Congratulations on that. That was sick. I was watching that online. I was like,
Yeah.
whoa. But, air was
remember now.
huge too.
Yep.
The wind just
Perfect
carried you
10
perfect
backside.
and boom. Yeah, look right there. They just played it. That was a gnarly one. For you right here, is like, I need to do a freaking huge
What were you
air.
even thinking when you went up to do that? Were you just like, I'm going for a Hail Mary throw and I know I'm going to catch it too? Like,
Yeah. Well, the winner before that contest here, I was going to Rockies and practicing my backside full rails.
Oh.
Because
is that when
I
you
didn't
whipped the
really,
one on your
because
back
Italo
even?
was making all these huge full rails backside and
yeah.
winning comps. And I was
Yeah.
like, I need to get my backside full rail. Like I need to get it. So I just went to Rockies every day and practice it. And then,
so sick
and then
for
it like
yeah.
fully paid off right there.
Yeah,
That's
I
sick.
know that looked like it had a little Rockies flair in that.
Yeah. Little trade winds.
It's
blowing up
Rockies
the
on
face.
beach on sand out there.
Right? Oh, that does look like Rocky. Right?
That's sick.
Good job, Griff. You're serving so good.
I think Kelly's breakdance is at the end of this
No
video.
way. we'll have to watch that.
Oh, wait, it's you got to go to Cola Bros to find it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So here's one thing that I do, like how you're saying, like you play a lot of mind trips with your mind. Sometimes I sit out a pipeline or like the night before a big swell. I'm like, fuck, what am I doing? Like why am I still serving pipeline? I'm 40 years old. Like, you start getting in your head and then you're like, oh, like maybe I'll get a good one. It's all good. I run through a lot of like, and I run through a lot of negative thoughts and I don't know why. And I'm trying to get rid of these negative thoughts. And like, it could be like right before the Eddie, I'm like, I'm scared. I haven't surfed Waimea since 2016, but I know in my deep down, like like core that I'm a psycho. Right when it comes, I want it. I'm gonna get it, and I'm gonna apply all the talent, and I'm gonna execute. And like I feel like I get really nervous, even now, even more than ever. Before every pipe swell, I'm like I hold it like so, like I hold this like pedestal like so high for myself. Like I got to get like one of the best waves of the day. That's my goal every time I surf a pipeline. Wow. But like I'm like super like nervous. Like I'm like, oh, I don't know, like frick, like I start putting these negative thoughts in my mind. I'm like, oh, what if you hit your head and you get knocked out and you wake up in an ambulance? And I'm playing all these like weird mind games against myself. And I'm like, no, you're good enough. Like I'm like talking myself back into it. Like, bro, imagine all these guys would like kill to be in your position to surf pipeline your whole life. Like you're just as good as anyone. You could do anything you want. Like as far as like, you know, like riding the wave. And like I more than recently been playing a lot of weird games against myself. And like you say, like some of those days that I do paddle out there and I'm like all these thoughts are going in my head. But as I enter the water, that's when like the real me comes out, and all those thoughts are gone, and I go out there and execute, and I have a great time, and it's all positive. I got crazy waves, and I'm just like so psyched. But like I battle with like some like deep down like scary depression. I don't know. Like I'm just scared. Like I don't want to die. That's why I wear a helmet. That's why I wear a float suit. But then also like I'm like looking at my man. I'm like frick. Like I'm not a big wave surfer, and then boom, I'm like, oh, I'm leading the eddy right now. Like, this is crazy. Like, I'm like, this is not even real. Like, but like, it's just, you gotta just, you know, once you enter the water, all those thoughts are gone, and it's you versus Mother Nature, and you go and execute. So it was super cool for me to hear that about you talking about that, because I go through my own battles at my favorite wave in the world, where no one would ever think I would have any of those like thought processes going through my mind.
Yeah. Well, that's super cool that you're sharing that, because I think, you know, no matter what level you're at, like everyone goes through that stuff. And
I honestly, I think it came from one wipeout, that I took this wipeout, and I wasn't even on the big wave. I was at the end of pipe. I hit the foam ball. It shot me in the lip. I went over the falls head first, hit my head, but there was this much sand. I did the scorpion. My legs came over to the top of my head, and I caught a cramp in my back and in my calves, and I was stuck, and I was going, and I could only kind of weirdly breathe out. I'm like, oh my God, this is bad. And then I started thinking like, okay, you're in a float suit. You're like, okay, you're going to like, you know, but then I was like in the rip, and I realized my board's broken. I'm like, oh my God, like, bro, my back was so torqued, bro, because it went, when I wiped out, and I was like, oh no. And I like finally got into the beach, and lifeguards are like doing this on the beach. They're like, are you okay? Like, you know, I could see them from the tower. I'm like, oh. I was like, you know, like kind of like don't really want to go up there and talk to them about that one. But my back was kind of like messed up for like, I would say about a year and a half. I never went to the doctors, but like I could feel there was like a bulge disc or something going on. I never went, because I was just like the humbled pie, but I ate my pie, and I was just like, bro, I don't want to tell anybody about this.
Too heavy, bro.
Yeah, and it kind of scarred me, bro. It scarred me for the last like 3 or 4 years, and that's why I've been wearing like helmet and like freaking float vest. I'm like, frick, bro, I want to be like Mike Ho and surf out here until I'm like freaking 70 years old.
Sick.
Oh, yeah.
Right. I know. I feel I have some of those thoughts too sometimes, but I'm like, I just try to play extremely dumb, like to them. Like when I feel like the negative, like, oh, do I belong here? I've felt though, you know, like when you're in the lineup with the people, you're like, hey, I should feel like I'm okay, you know? And usually I'm just like, I just play dumb, like, huh? And then my whole thing is, if I even feel those bad stuff, I like to pretend like, oh, I'm the opposite then. So sometimes when I did go do the CTs, because I was never qualified for the CTs, you know, technically, but I'd get to do some wild cards, you know, and sometimes, you know, a little thought would come in there, you know, if you have a shocker one wave, you know, it's like, oh, am I barning? Am I a barn? You know, you kind of think that, or like, then like you said, kind of like, do I deserve to be here? But I love when I feel that negative, I love to go like, ooh, you deserve it more than, or you are the man. And only in your head, like you deserve it more than everyone.
This is true.
And then I'll be like, ooh, yeah, it feels good. Everything feels good again. Like, and then sometimes, like you said, like I'll feel, oh, pipe tomorrow, or Eddie Aikau, maybe I'll feel like that scared creep in. And then I love like defusing, like going the opposite.
Yeah.
Like, ooh, I'm gonna, like, as scared as I am, it's like, no, I'm gonna win. I feel like I'm gonna win. But then really like somewhere in the middle, I always feel like there's an empty place. Like I don't really know like what's gonna happen.
The unknown, bro.
I don't know. Yeah, but I love that thought of the like the better, like the almost like having faith in like the more positive part of the negative thought, or I love just redoing those negative thoughts.
That's why I think.
Then sometimes you get proved like, no, you're gonna get pounded or whatever, and then you're like, go home, scratch your head.
When it does turn negative like that, my one thought I try and train myself to do is like, imagine what this guy's thinking, imagine what that guy's thinking. Like you've been surfing out for 30 years, like,
oh, Stony,
bro, these guys are like, these guys must be going through it.
Yeah. Like, could you imagine what this guy's thinking?
Yeah.
yeah. You're telling yourself,
and he's probably like looking at me like thinking like, oh, Jamie's just thinking about like
you don't give a shit.
Rainbow spits,
Yeah.
freaking 10 barrels of sesh.
Rainbow spits, bro. How'd you know? That was the trick. That's the trick to all. When I get scared at pipe, I think of that. Rainbow spits.
Let's talk about the YouTube channel, Cola Bros. You guys been kind of going off this year. I've been super psyched to follow along. I honestly do check your YouTube channel every once in a while. I go digging in to see like if you guys post it, and like sometimes I'm like, oh, these guys are nuts, bro. They've been posted in like 3 months, 2 months, and then you guys just go on this like crazy roll. But like to me, I think it's like the ultimate like journey of your guys' career, and then now like with your brother qualifying. Like to me, it's like so authentic, such like a fresh breath of air in this space, and I love it. I just hope you guys keep doing it and like growing it and just digging in. It's been fun to watch.
High performance too.
Very.
Ripping. I love it. It's like high performance fun on the land, and then high performance ripping in the ocean. It's like, everyone should tune in, really.
Yeah. 100%.
Thanks, boys, hyping it up. But yeah, we're lucky we got Shane Kreutzer's editing our videos now. You probably
Sick.
Shane's
great. Yep.
Yeah. He's living on the North Shore, so he's part of the crew here now. And but yeah, he's like the hardest working filmer, editor like I've ever seen. The guy's just so on it and so psyched, and like just wants to make more videos, and it's like really cool to experience that. Because in the past I've had it where like I kind of have to be the one pressing.
Yeah, that's probably when you're not posting for a couple months. You're just over pressing on all these guys. Yeah.
I got 2 ribbons to win.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll press after a couple of these checks.
Yeah, but I've seen it in the way of like, it's just like what you're saying, like documenting our whole career. Like I feel like one day when I'm like 60 and it's all over, like it'll be so cool to go back and watch all that stuff.
So sick.
Sure.
All in high definition, like all this crazy like antics. You could just show your like family and be like, oh, that was me back in the day, right? You better step it up.
Yeah.
Don't you have your win? You have your Portugal win and your party and everything on
to pull it up.
on the cola. Yeah, I love you, bro. No, so sick.
It must have been a dream come true with your brother qualifying. That way you guys could travel together. Because I know like a travel companion, like a girlfriend or wife's amazing, but also like your brothers and then your other brothers that like Cole and the crew that are like qualifying. It must be so fun that you can go travel the world and compete with all of your best friends, right?
Oh, it's insane. It's next level. And like, I mean, we had always like been pushing for that forever, and then for it to like actually happen, it's
crazy.
Like, you're just like, whoa, this is actually happening. And then boom, you're in freaking J-Bay or something with like
all the boys,
like, all your
So
friends.
sick.
Like our connection is like so deep. Like we're like proper best friends, and like to be doing that, I think it's one of those things where like after it's all said and done, you look back and go, oh shit, that was actually really tapped.
So sick.
Yeah.
I mean, the talent pool that's coming out of San Clemente, and I could only imagine like the next generation that's behind you guys, and like Kalohe really leading it for you guys. It's just like, it's incredible to see like what these like kids from San Clemente have done and continue to do, and then apply all their talent all around the world. Like to me, it's like, it's really cool. Cause like, I remember like when I was younger, like you're like Kelly Slater, like he turned into be one of the best pipeline surfers ever. Right. He came from Sebastian Inlet. That's like this little weird wedge wave, like super average. And the guy
That's kind of what I wanted to ask Griff about, was because I grew up, and I think you did too, Jamie, but we grew up like doing the nationals every year in California.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'd go to trestles and lowers, and I'd do that every summer. And I grew up kind of with Kolohe and Dino and all the boys, you know, so I always felt like I always loved San Clemente, and I'd always go back there and kind of pretend like, oh, Pipe Masters one day, you know, even though like at home I'd be petrified and Jamie would be right there if I showed up, like, get out there. But in California, I'd be like, oh, I could kind of pipeline over here. Like, I feel like,
Riviera.
yeah, Riviera, exactly. Riviera and Lost Winds. I was like, yeah, and like T Street even. But
All right, we're going to take a quick break from the sponsors. This one is NordVPN. If you guys are traveling a lot, you're on the road a lot, you're traveling to different countries, I promise you, you're going to need to download NordVPN. And for the cheap price of a Red Bull or a cup of coffee, whatever it is, that's all it costs to protect your computer, your phone. You could share it up to like, I think 12 different devices. Is it 12 different devices? You could use it on 10 different devices. Sorry, it wasn't 12, but it's so incredible because like everywhere I go in the world, I want to watch the UFC fights. I'm the biggest UFC fan. And when I sit down and I can't watch my UFC fights, I'm absolutely losing my mind. And the perfect answer is NordVPN. You could download it, boom. Next thing you know, you're watching the fights, whether in your Japan or you're in like freaking Mexico. I swear I always run into this issue, and I'm so grateful to have NordVPN. And as well as it protects your, you know, like all your logins, because like there's like these like cyber like bullies out there that just want to like take your passwords and basically log you out of your accounts. We were logged out of our podcast account for a matter of like maybe like a couple weeks, and it was stressing me out so bad. And it's because somebody that was helping me run the account was running out of a sketchy country and should have had NordVPN. So we almost lost our Instagram account. Make sure to check that out as well. But it's sometimes very stressful just knowing that you could lose, you know, your Instagram, your YouTube channel, your TikTok, whatever it is, like just protect it. It's the price of a coffee. It's the price of a Red Bull. Like, come on, Brad. You got to be psyched not to protect those accounts that you worked so hard to build a following on. And the best part about it is it's the fastest VPN in the world. That's what's up. No buffering, no lagging while streaming your favorite TV show, UFC fights, whatever you're watching. You're going to thank me for this, so make sure to check them out. To get the best discount on NordVPN, go to nordvpn.com/OHO. Our link will also give you 4 extra months on a 2-year plan. That's right, 4 extra months on a 2-year plan. There's no risk with Nord's 30-day money back guaranteed. The link is in the podcast episode description box. So please just support our show. Send the love that way.
no, I thought it's super cool how you're from San Clemente and there's not really like a lot of those pipeline slabbing really gnarly waves there. But I've noticed you took like the big waves, like kind of the gnarly waves, pretty serious, and you got really good at them. But I was saying, it's kind of reminded me of how you're saying about Slater at Cocoa Beach. But I was gonna say, like, was there any like certain spots, or what kind of got you psyched to or excited to kind of go attack the big surf and get better in the big surf? Was it like one of your heroes that were good at it, or was it like, what was it?
I think like originally when I was super young, like my goal is always to be the best surfer in the world. And so having that, I'm like, I need to be as well-rounded as I can. And I want to be the best in every kind of condition or any kind of wave there is. And so
Love
like,
that.
you know, you just think, okay, like who's the top 5 guys at barrel riding? And then I go, okay, I gotta like get myself to at least be someone. Hopefully I'm still working at it to like get myself in that like top 5 conversation of like the best barrel riders in the world, you know?
Yeah.
And you guys are in there. So it's like, it's a long process, especially from being from San Clemente. Cause like when I come to Hawaii, we don't have waves like that at home. So it's like when we come to these places, we got to really put our time in and just like spend, you know, just watch and learn and study footage and the whole thing. And and then obviously, like I said before, Seth Moniz, like we're almost the same age, and he was like just natural gifted barrel rider at a young age, and he was just like getting so barreled, and I was just like going over the falls. I'm like, I'm just gonna keep trying. I don't care. Like, I'm gonna keep trying.
So your partner was like Seth, and he was on it.
Yeah.
And so you came from San Clemente. You're like, hey, I keep up Hawaii. He probably come over So you'd probably come, and Seth, I've always noticed was like, I mean, when he was a Grom, I'd always call him Heavy Sack Seth because he'd be so young and he'd be going for the craziest waves and getting pounded by like the biggest waves, but he'd always have a smile. But I could almost see like if that was your partner, it'd almost be you guys were the dream team because like you'd come over here or to Hawaii, and if you could keep up with him or like do better or just keep up with him, you'd be getting pretty gnarly. Because he was always crazy in the big surf and even in the small surf. And I feel like when you guys would go to California, you'd probably keep him on his game in the small stuff, Yeah. So I feel like it was probably a sick, like you guys benefited from each other a lot.
Oh, for sure.
Dynamic duo right there.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of having Seth around and just your desire to be the best in the world is what led you to like, okay, I got these California waves pretty dialed and mastered. I got to go find the big consequence waves and I want to become one of the best.
Totally.
And that's what made you, because now you are one of the best in the bear. Like when you paddle out the pipe and back door, almost every time you get one of the funnest rides, I think. And
thank you.
Yeah. So it's I always thought like, oh, it's kind of cool because San Clemente, I grew up there and I was always like, I had a cool connection there. And I was like, oh, they're going to be world champions from here any minute now. I better get on my game, but I don't know. It's cool that you came from there and you're so good in the big surf. I was curious.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, it's cool how San Clemente and the North Shore, like all we've like fed off each other because everyone from Hawaii comes over to San Clemente for the summer and we all go over there come over here for the winter.
Yeah.
It's like we all are surfing the same waves
100%.
and like developing. And we're, and then now, like you look at the tour, and there's actually like a bunch of us on tour from Hawaii and from California.
Yeah.
And we've like shared each other's waves,
Totally. It's like
cool.
Everyone just keeps each other sharp or something.
Mm-hmm.
Different kind of oceans.
Bro, speaking about San Clemente, I remember when I was a young kid, I was probably like 11, and then Chris Ward, I was living at where John grew up, where I used to live back in the day.
Yeah.
At Aokai Beach Park, like right next to the showers.
Yeah, by the lifeguard tower.
Yeah. And I remember my dad going, oh, there's Chris Ward staying next door. He's like one of the hot shots from like San Clemente. And I was like, oh, sick. I'm like, Chris was like, I think he was like 17 or 18 and I was like 11 or 12. And I kind of became like, yeah, my dad, and he's like, oh, you got to surf with Chris. Chris is super cool. He lives next door. And like Chris would come over every once in a while. We'd like cruise and do some surf sessions together. But he was like partying, like, like just like hanging out with chicks. I was just like, didn't even like engage in any of that. But I was just kind of I would just go surf with Chris. Yeah. Like, oh, say guys, surf with Chris, Rockies and Ilkai, like, dabble at pipe a little bit. But like Chris was like, like he was like this like San Clemente kid.
Phenom.
Yeah.
Grom.
Like badass. Like he would just be in random fights on the beach. He didn't really care. Like he was like San Clemente, like rugged San Clemente, to say the least. And
royalty.
Royalty. Kind of, yeah.
No,
So proud of this one. So that summer, yeah, because like you said, like all the guys from San Clemente come to Hawaii, and then we all go to San Clemente. So next year it's like nationals, right? Boom, I like fly over, like, oh, you're staying with Chris. I'm like, okay, sick. So I'm staying with Chris Ward, his mom, and like someone else. I don't know, behind like the Chevron by I don't know, what's that taco place?
Oh, Pedro's.
Like they lived up the hill up there or something.
Yeah, right behind Pedro's.
Yeah, and I was staying at Chris Ward's house, and I was like, okay, like, but it kind of all makes sense. Like my dad's like, oh yeah, you'll stay with Chris. Like he'll dial you, and Chris like, yeah, come stay. So I'm like staying there. I got my bodyboard, I got my longboard, I got my short board. I'm like there to surf nationals. And then next thing you know, bro, like Chris is like, wow, you brought a bodyboard, bro? He's like tripping out, like looking at my bodyboard. He's like, where are you gonna ride this thing? I was like, oh, I'm gonna ride it lowers. He's like, wow, it's not a bodyboard wave. I'm like, whatever. Like, boom. Like next thing you know, like I remember like surfing in like all the divisions. Like I did it all back in the day.
I remember that.
And I ended up getting 6 in the juniors or whatever it was, open man. I don't know. I got 6 in the surfboard, and then I won boogie boarding.
Yeah,
bro, I won a national title for bodyboarding, bro. I was like tripping out, bro. Stand up.
I remember
all the guys are like laying down doing El Rolos and shit, and I was like, boom. I was like 360 floater, 360 floater, like snap reverse, bro. Bro, I literally, I won a trophy like this big. And then Wardo's like, bro, you're freaking nuts, bro.
Like baffled.
Yeah, he's like baffled. And then this is the craziest part. So then my dad's like, oh, you should stay in California for another month. Just stay with Chris. And then Chris like, all right, like I'm actually spending a lot of time down at the Lost House, and it was like the OG Lost House. Like literally, it was when Lost was like in the backyard. They had this
there's a clip of you.
Bro, there's a skateboard ramp, and that was when Chicken and the other guy was there.
Dude, there's a clip of you in the first Lost movie.
Yeah.
You're like cleaning in the back.
Dude, I was there, and I like literally, I swear, like Lost Factory was like there was like a few like shelves, and then they had like all these like shirts, like, and then it was like the one like the chick's like licking on a lollipop. It says Lost sucks. And whatever. Like I got some like Lost gear, but I was like, oh, is that all these like OG parties?
You're in the back of the movie cleaning. Did you know that? You're in what's really going. I don't know if it's what's really going on or wrong, but you're in the back cleaning.
It goes, what was going on?
Bro, you look so small, and your hair is pitch white. and I remember I just thought it was another California kid. Yeah, but Mike or someone's like, that's Jamie O'Brien in the back. And I was like, yeah, right. I paused it all. Oh my God, it is.
I was at I swear, I was at the craziest parties of my life.
Proof.
I was tripping, bro. I was like, where am I right now? And I like my dad, like, you know, he's like, oh, Jamie's like, you know, like obviously I was like freaking 13 years old at like the most psycho Lost parties. Like it was insane. Like, and then meanwhile, like boom, like, so, you know, I'm like cruising with Wardo. He's got like a broken arm with like freaking some like band-aided up fucking thing. And like, you know, he's like going in and he wins the air contest doing slob grabs down at Oceanside. I'm just like, I don't know. It's like, to me, it's like you said, like, it's like such like a yin and a yang, like coming to the North Shore, going to San Clemente. It's like all of us as young kids, we go to San Clemente every single summer.
Right. Ward was another guy who came from San Clemente and really took on the big surf and the waves with consequence and rode them with style and became one of the best, like you're saying, in the conversation for could be the best barrel rider in the world.
That's also probably part of the reason like we're so fired up on that too, is like because Wardo's like one of the best barrel riders ever.
Yeah, from
and
your guys' town.
His style in the barrel is so
the
incredible.
best, one of the best.
Him
and Andy,
or like I heard Andy used to like want to surf like Wardo, right?
Yep.
And so it's to like have that from San Clemente, you just like, oh, we can do it. Like, you know, he did it. We're from San Clemente, we can do it. Like,
it was sick because I remember like then going with Chris down and hang out with like Corey Lopez and Shay, and they like literally rented a house right at at the pier at San Clemente Pier.
San Clemente Pier.
They like literally lived at San Clemente Pier, and we'd like always go there because they would want to like hang out and party or like cruise like over there.
Have you had any mean sessions at San Clemente Pier, Obi?
Never.
What? Come on, bro. That right just barrels into that pier. Am I allowed to say it, or is it a secret spot? No. Don't say it, huh?
No, it's not secret.
The pier fires, bro. That wave is mental.
That's pretty shitty.
Left is so rippable, bro. Get you ready for any CT event.
I've never figured out any wave in California my whole life.
Yeah, right. I see.
Besides on a bodyboard. A couple of good airs here and there. Soft waves are fun.
Yeah. I feel like people don't realize how good of a high performance surfer Jamie is.
Was. Well, I just don't want to surf when it's thank you.
If you say so.
No, but like I don't want to like even like today I woke up I was like, oh, it looks fun for turns or this or that, and I just like got in my car and laughed. Like I didn't want to do that.
Oh man, dude, I went on a boat trip with this guy when I was 15.
Oh, that was nuts.
With Jamie, and he was doing the hugest airs and the most ridiculous blowtails, throwing it to the beach, like just one motioning it, like.
Probably the Taylor Steele movies, those
probably, No, so gnarly. But after the trip, my dad's like, 100%. He's getting on tour this year, like 100%. You know, but then he like, my dad's like, what the fuck? And then I would see you later, and you'd be like, bro, you should be on the tour already. I seen you. A couple times I'd see you, Jamie. You're like, why aren't you on the tour already? I seen you.
I thought you were gonna qualify.
Me too. I'm like, bro, I don't know. Fuck.
Yeah, it's hard. It's harder than you think.
Yeah. Well, I feel like too, it's like I was like a victim of not a victim. I hate to say victim, but I went through like, there was like the One World rankings. There was a lot of the years of my career that they were tinkering with the format of the tour. Like there was at one point they had this thing called the One World rankings.
Yeah, I remember that.
Where it was all the QS is ranked amongst the top guys. And I remember it just so happens that year I made a bunch on the QS, are the big ones. I had a bunch of fat results, but that year only like 4, usually 10 guys qualify. And then when I was younger, there's a couple years where 16 guys would qualify. And then but like my one year when I had my mental one, they're like, hey, you're not one of the 4. Yeah, I'm like, number 6.
That's
or like
crazy.
any, like
Yeah.
I made it
Yeah.
by 10
That
slots.
one
If-
world thing was nuts.
The one world thing was gnarly.
Yeah,
And then
so
I remember,
gnarly.
I think 2 or 3 years, and I did okay the next year. And then all of a sudden I was just like fingers in the air a little bit, like, okay, that's not right for me. And then all of a sudden they're back to the normal. And I'm like, oh, wait. I'm normal. I can make the normal.
Yeah.
So then I kind of like came back with a little half-ass energy, you know, just because I already whaled my full energy. And
Yeah.
so I don't know. I just felt like there was a tricky time for me to qualify, and then for you to like pull it, and then even for Jamie, I was all gnarly. I was tricky.
Yeah.
The big formats are playing with. And
No, I think it was like weird. It was like I feel like the air thing was like ahead of its time, and if you like landed an air, then you like rode out kind of sloppy, but you kind of got back to your feet and rode the wave. They'd be
They're
like,
achy.
oh yeah, they're like, oh that wasn't like incomplete. Like they wanted to see it landed perfect
Yeah.
and like whatever it was. But I remember like the year I think I was like on tour like 18, 19, 20, 21, and then I stopped. But like
yeah,
I think when I was 21,
that's when you were with me on the boat.
yeah, I was with you on the boat and I was on tour. I can't like after the whole year started, I was doing pretty good. Got a couple of results, like, but you're surfing like horrible waves. Nothing against Newquay, England, but like you're surfing like England, even at the wrong times of the year. You're surfing like Hossegor, France, and it wasn't even like Hoss. You're like surfing Anglet like in September where there's like not even waves. You're like, how is this even like maybe if you get lucky?
It gets tricky, huh?
It gets tricky. So like, pick up a couple results and you end up in Hawaii and you're like, all right, you're like 43rd. If you make the finals at Haleiwa and you make the finals at Sunset, you qualify
You're
or something,
gold.
And I think the one year it came down to when I was 21, I was like, if you make the finals at Haleiwa, you qualify. Got to Haleiwa, I made the quarters and I lost. And I was like, oh, and then I went into the Sunset and I made the quarters and I lost. And then that same year, I obviously didn't qualify. I won the Pipeline Masters when I was 21 years old. And it was like such a significant like time of my life where it's like I was clearly good enough to like compete against the best and win and understand the feeling of winning. And then all the sponsors coming behind going, you're going to qualify next year. Yeah. And I was just done. I was like, no, I don't want to qualify.
Oh, you called it after that.
I called it. I was over it.
You
I
wanted
just,
to win.
You almost could
not
after
doing
that
dude, I was
pipeline.
surfing the shittiest waves all year long. And I did it for 4 or 5 years. And all I
Yeah.
wanted to do is surf good waves.
Griff, when did you qualified? 2015, 2016?
2018, 2019, I think.
What was like, did you have was that the year you won the US Open?
No, I won the US
When you're on
Open.
tour already.
I was already on tour.
Okay.
Yeah.
When the year you qualified, did you win any events or did you just go consistent? You cracked a couple consistent?
No, I didn't win any events.
Sick.
I won the Triple Crown that year though.
Yeah.
which was
Well,
cool.
I remember that. Was that one of the last years they had it?
It was the second to last year they had it.
Yeah. I thought that was super cool. And you, so you had what was like, how was your experience with that qualifying that year? Was it pretty cool? Were you kind of like, fuck yeah, I'm having a good, fun, consistent year. This is fun.
The start of the year was like really hard. I was the first like 4 or 5 events I lost like first round.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah. And then
Did Hawaii help you get through? You won the Triple Crown or like?
that did help me in the end. So then I went to Japan and I was working with Snake Tails this year.
Yeah, yeah.
It's my first like full year
remember
working with
that.
Snake. And went to Japan and like super like low confidence there. And then like somehow like scraped through the first heat, like buzzer beater.
Yeah.
And then made that and then I ended up getting a quarters there and I was like, oh, I got a little
In
result.
Chiba?
Like cool, I got a result,
Yeah.
And then went to Bolito, got a 9th. US Open, I got a 9th.
Oh,
And then-
sick.
And then went to Portugal and got like a 5th. And then coming into Hawaii, I was 7th.
Whoa.
So you did
Yeah.
what I always dreamed of. I always thought like, dude, I always told myself like, hey, Mason, just get a couple top 5s, top 10s. I'm like, just sneak a couple 9ths.
Yeah.
I remember
Yeah.
like, I'm like, just don't do the dumb, like don't lose first round or the second round. I'm like, just get those top 10s, top 5s. I always told myself, get 5 5ths or like,
Yeah.
like, cause I'd always be like first. And I'd never really get it, So I was like, okay, thirds. Even that was hard. I was like, freaking 5ths. And then I remember I got a 5th in Africa. I was like, ooh, okay.
Yeah.
5th's nice on my brain. Like,
Yeah.
and then, but I noticed eventually, if like, you don't have to just win like qualifying, like for the kids or whatever out there. I noticed sometimes you don't have to be the man. You don't have to, in your brain, you can just be like, hey, couple fifths, couple ninths, and I could pull it.
Well,
but I don't know how it
the
is
funny
now.
thing about that is the year I did qualify, I remember Snake asked me like, oh, what's your goals this year? And I was like, oh, to qualify, like make top 10. He's like, your goal should be to win the season, like win the whole thing. I was like, oh shit, okay. Like,
yeah.
I'll
So
change
if you're aiming for that, you'll fall.
Yeah,
around
that
the
was
fifth
kind of the
or
theory,
10th.
I think.
Sick.
Like,
So you were like,
high.
I want to fucking win. I'm going.
Yeah, like make a big goal, and
Yeah.
then like
And
even
then
if you go
fall
like
short, you're
a little
all-
short,
just
you're
hit your
still
goal.
insane, like
Yeah.
doing epic stuff.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like Joel Parkinson, the year he won his world title, he didn't win one event the whole year. He was just consistent on his results, which equaled a world title.
Mm-hmm.
So
How's that for
yeah.
a question though? What would you guys rather want? Like a win or two at your favorite events for a year? Oh, it's almost an easy question maybe now that I'm thinking about it for Griff. But what would you rather want? A win or two at your favorite events throughout the year? Maybe even 3 or 4 or 5.
Uh-huh.
But
a
you
lot.
won't win the 2, or you won't win the title. Or would you want a title with no wins, all seconds and thirds and tenths?
That's a pretty crazy question. I mean, probably the title.
Probably the title, right?
I'll take that trophy.
Well, as I was asking, I was like, "Oh, it's just simple. He wants the title."
But it's a good question because, like, imagine winning 4 events
Imagine
in 1
saying,
year.
"Yeah, I want to win Chopo." You get to
Yeah.
hand pick your 4, but then you're like, still, you don't get the title.
Like
Yeah.
4
But you
events
get
in
the-
1 year is almost gnarly
Man,
somehow.
that's what I mean. Like, you could almost have a legacy off that.
Yeah.
So it's like, what do you want, or do you want the title with no wins? But I feel like for you, you've already won a few super cool events. So it's like, give me the title already. I'll
Yeah,
go back to
exactly.
winning if that's what it comes down
think
to.
so.
But give me my titles, right?
yeah.
Yeah, Griff. Let's get this
I
guy
like
a
that.
title, bro.
I know.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Jack's gonna
Thanks.
snap, bro.
Yeah.
Oh,
Who's your biggest rivalry, or like who do you look, or I mean, I don't know, rivalry, like obviously like you're surfing with all
good
your
question.
best friends, but like, you know, and then you got, you know, guys like Jack and John, which, you know, I know everyone's really good friends on tour. Like, who do you look forward to surfing with besides, I don't know, your elite crew?
Mm-hmm. Like in a heat or is free surfing?
Well, I guess
Sick.
let's
That's
just,
different people for different.
yeah.
Like the heat,
Yeah.
you want to
He doesn't want to surf with me or you in a
Gabriel,
free surf, but maybe in a heat, he's down to go.
Yeah, I definitely don't want to serve with you guys at freaking pipeline. That's for sure.
No way.
I'm not
We've already
good
done
anyways.
it. You're gnarly.
Actually, I remember surfing with you at back door one day, and it was like there wasn't many guys out, and it was like sick back doors
One
coming
day?
in.
Yeah.
And I was like sitting out there waiting for a wave, and like I think you were on your fun board, and you like
I
one
was
peak
pigging
coming in, and
out
I was
a little
like,
bit.
I know how it is. Like I'm like they're local, they're going, you know. And so like you kind of like pigged out a couple of times,
Pigged
and you
out.
paddled out after your like second barrel. You're like, sorry, Griff, I'm like a crackhead. I need my crack rock.
Oh, jeez. Dude, you want
I
to
like
know?
talking about the wind.
Yeah, I know that. I
And I was
felt,
like, yeah, mate. It's all
you're
good,
like, I
man."
know. No,
And
because I
then you
remember I
called me into
gave
the
you one.
next wave.
Yeah, and it was a mental one.
Yeah, it
I
was a
remember I
mental
could have
one.
went again. You looked at me like, oh, here's the rock.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, man, you giving me another one? But then, you know what? I remember that session, and I'm almost sorry that it was you that was out. But guys, I went out there. I usually don't go out there like this, but I went out there so snapped one day, right out to pipe and back door. I was
Like a pit bull.
like a pig bull. Like I went out because you know why? I think the contest was coming up.
Yeah.
The pipe contest was coming up, and I usually never surf pipe and backdoor before the events. I don't really do it because I like all you guys to kind of get your action, and I'm just like, I don't want to like be out there and kind of take turns, and kind of I want everyone to win. Like, you know, or everyone I see, I'm always like, oh, I want you to win, you know, and I don't know. It's just a lot for me, and I want you guys to practice. And I feel like I'll get it in before and after them, unless it's like the perfect day. I'll try sneak one.
Yeah.
But I remember the one time with you, that session. I remember I was like, I think I like did good at the shootout, and everyone was trying to get me into I think there was like a little thing they were trying to get me into the event because a lot of people were not getting into the pipe event.
Yeah.
So a bunch of people were trying to get me in, and I remember like I was just watching every person get in besides me, or like just like just everyone but me. Yeah, and I was just like, hello. I'm like, oh, there's like another person pulled out, and every time they're like, maybe you, hold on, maybe you. And so I remember it was like the day before the concert, 3 days, and they're like, no, I was like the 5th guy, and I was just like, hey, I'm going out there and I'm taxing anyone. Like I hope the contest directors are out there too. I'm taxing everyone. Like, and I remember I went out there, and Yeah, I didn't even notice it was you for a second, but I was like, "Arr!" And I got a couple nice ones. And then finally I was like, who is it? And I'm like, because I felt like someone was kind of like, I don't know. I just felt like someone's like, dude, can I get one or something? I was like, who is
I was
it?
trying to sit there all quiet.
No, you were sitting there cruising, like, whatever, mate. I remember I was like taxiing. I was like, yeah, I'm taxiing someone. And then I just looked up. I'm like, who is it? And I looked and it was you. I'm like, oh, Griffin, my like one brother. There's probably like 7 or 8 guys on tour that I just would not want. I would want to share my pig fest with, you know, like you're one of them. You're one of my 7 for sure. Like I would never. And that's why I think when I looked up finally, I'm like, who is it? And I looked, it was you. I'm like, oh, Griffin, no, I'm a Barney. Or I feel like a Barney. And then a nice wave came. Yeah. And you were like, and I was like, ooh, another one. And then you were like, what, are you going on this one too? And I was like, no, I'm not. I'm not that much of a barn. And you're like, thank you. And just got your mean one. Yeah. And I was like, yes, now I can pig out again. Or like,
I might have just got it after that one.
No, you came back out. You're like, bro, it's mean.
Yeah.
And because it was just us.
Yeah.
And I think I already got my pig out a little bit. And we were just vibing after that. We were psyched.
Yeah.
You softened Mason up a little. Yeah.
I'll never
He was the
forget
only
that
guy.
comment though, because like I actually use that too now.
You feel that
Where I'm,
really?
like with because like
A little rock.
you know, if I'm at lowers or something, then I
You're
can
like,
like
sorry.
just like fuck, you know.
But we've never tried that stuff, so we don't know. But I've seen how those
You know,
addicts act on.
I came up with this funny theory like a few months ago where with like surfing in crowds and people and like
yeah,
feeling bad if you're like taxing someone
Yeah,
or
yeah.
you're like backpedaling someone.
Yeah.
yeah,
And what I realized was like in every lineup, there's kind of like a pecking order with like depending on like what your skill level's at.
Mhm.
And like I've always like felt really bad kind of like maybe palling around someone to like get in a better position to catch the next wave. But I do it anyways because I'm like trying to get better at my sport, you know?
Yeah.
And I kind of like had this theory where I was like, well, wait, that guy that I just did that to is literally doing that to the person beneath him.
100%.
So it's all good because he's doing that to the guy that's worse than him.
yeah. That it should be
So
the
I'm
other guy.
I'm
It should
getting
be
him
the-
back
yeah.
for this guy.
Yeah,
I'm helping. I'm
You're
hooking
doing
this
God's
guy.
work,
So,
bro.
so it's kind of like this like
So
food
it's
chain
circle
kind
of life.
thing, yeah.
As long, yeah, no, I like
Made me
that.
feel better about
No,
it.
you're making me feel. I need these
Well,
lessons.
if you're not out there, someone else is doing that below you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like as long as you give a little bit of space, you do your thing, you know the circle of life, but you just give a little bit of food. Like, here's some scraps, you know, but the heart's mine. And or like whatever, you know, I don't know.
I want
It's like
the
a bunch of
backstrap.
animals. Yeah. It's like whatever, yeah. So sick. I
But,
like that theory though.
You like that
That's
one?
a mean one. You know, Dusty one time, I don't want to throw it. This actually wouldn't be throwing Dusty under the bus because it's so heroic, but
Dusty Payne?
yeah, Dusty Payne. But this last year I was in Indo with him.
Yeah.
And I used to travel with him a lot, and he's gnarly. You know how good Dusty is, but he had this sick theory. I don't want to get it twisted, but I'll try to keep it quick too.
Okay.
But it was so mental. Like I think we're watching Karamas, yeah, and the wave was so nice, but there's so many guys out, and they're all kind of blowing it. Yeah, everyone was like blowing it, and we were all like, we got there so early, psyching to surf, but we're like. No, we're like, we can't do it. There's just too many guys out. It's like gonna ruin our vibe. Like, or we're already kind of bumming on the people where we don't want to go in the middle of them and have to deal with it. And then I was just kind of like, maybe we could pull it, maybe. And Dusty's like, I don't know, man. Like, it's pretty bad. And I'm like, I know. And then, but he said something like, I don't want to throw him on there, but he just said something
Tell
like,
us.
he
What did
just
he
said
say?
something like, look at God's, something about like, this is God's creation or something about how's like, or the high powers, like this creation, this wave is so perfect. It's like perfect. And he was like saying something like him, or he's like, what I would do to that wave or what we would do is to that wave would just be like, we'd be matching God's work or like the wave's so perfect. And we were like, he's like, we'd go do not match God's work, but we'd go do like what God wants us to do, you
Like
know, or we'd do that wave justice is kind of what he was saying. But he was just saying like, these guys are in the way of like of work, you know, or like of God's work, you know? I don't know if he was saying God, but it was just sick. He was like saying like, how perfect is this creation? Like whoever made it, however it was made. And I was like, so true. And he's like, and how perfect do we attack stuff like that? Like how perfect or is our riding if we let us out there? I'm like, I know. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, but all these people. All these people are there just like being like, no, sorry. Like you got to get through us to do what you're destined to do, you know, or to make this. And I was just like, whoa, that's a cool, funny, like we got to go find another perfect creation where we could go pour ourselves on it and not be all bummed out on these people. Right. And he's like, yeah, let's go look at the next spot. But I was like, oh man, that's kind of funny.
I feel I feel like sometimes that pipeline, like when you like paddle out there and you see all these guys like wiping out or like doing like all this like kind of like weird. You're like, wow, like why did he fall there? Or what happened in the barrel? Why didn't he come out? But then like paddling out the pipeline, like, you know, surfing there for, I would say probably 30 years. I paddle straight around everyone and I paddle straight to the peak and I know exactly who's going to be at the peak, you know? Yeah. And I'm like, for the most part, I'm expecting to see who I think I'm going to see. Yeah. And I'd say like 98% of the time is exactly who I want to see. And I'm excited to surf with them. I'm excited to conversate. Cause like in a lineup at Pipeline, even though it might look super heavy, super gnarly, super scary, we're having these kind of conversations in the lineup and it's super fun and super delightful to be like, you know, just take the edge off of like, you know, the next biggest, scariest wave, even though we all understand like whose position it is, whose turn it is and whatnot. But like, I feel like paddling in the lineup, like you guys are saying, you paddle directly to the peak, you paddle deeper than everybody because you know, maybe it is God's plans that he wants you to see you ride this wave to perfection. And it's like a creation that's made by, you know, Mother Nature, and us to, you know, ride this wave perfect is not something that, you know, happens overnight. It's something that takes, you know, 10s and 20s and 30s of years. So it's not like we're like bagging the guys that aren't riding it good. It's just like put in your time in the water. Like, doesn't matter what you're doing, bodyboarding, snorkeling, surfing, like put your time in and you're going to get there too. It's just like everyone asks, how do you get good? How do you figure it out? I'm like, it's time in water, bro. There's nothing else that can make you a better surfer than time in water, right?
Yeah.
What's more gnarly?
Pull into beach break barrels for a while and then
closeouts.
Yeah.
Go pack hundreds of closeouts, bro. I promise you're going to get good real quick.
Yeah.
So true. Hey, Griff, what's more nuts for you, the crowd? Lowers or Pipeline?
Whoa.
Oh, Pipeline for sure.
Really? Because lowers, you just deal the cards out, huh? Or
yeah,
what? Or
I'm fortunate enough to be a local at Lowers, so that works out pretty good. But I mean, the hard part about Lowers is that there's so many people on the wave and in the way.
Yeah.
And it's and you just gotta like maneuver around them, you know?
Yeah. I always trip how you guys have the Lowers lineup pretty well. Like you guys are like cattle herders, like you and brother and stuff. I feel like out there are, like you guys just know, I feel like you guys just herd the crowd a little bit, or you'll go away to some place where I'm just like, does the wave even break over there? And then bing, you guys just chip in and it's pretty sick. And over time you're like, okay, the spot's over here. Okay, wow, cool.
Yeah.
And then I watch all the guys kind of like go, like, I don't know. I just feel like it's fun watching you guys out there because you guys know right where to go for the lefts and the rights and the perfect waves. And then sometimes you guys are inside of everyone, but still getting like right in the sweet spot. Mm-hmm. Like guys will be right outside.
Yeah.
But what the pipe crowd's way more.
The pipe crowd's nuts. But at the same time, there's a nice thing about pipe for me, like not being a local, is like when I paddle out there, I have no expectation of like, oh, like I need to be on like the best wave or something, you know? And so if I don't get a good wave, I never come in bummed.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't expecting to get the best wave or get a good wave or even get barreled sometimes.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And so when I get any kind of anything out there, I'm psyched.
You're stoked, yeah.
Yeah.
And the crowd, I feel like you got a good connection to it, the crowd at Pipe, or every time you come out, you're buddies with most of us and all the uncles, even maybe just growing up with Seth and stuff. You know, I feel like everyone's super cool with you and you make your way around there pretty well. So that's why I was kind of like, oh, I wonder what's more like, kind of like, just what one you have more trouble with, kind of, or like what one kind of just, I don't know, gets
under your skin.
Gets under your skin more. Yeah.
They're equal.
Okay. Because Pipe could be like, fuck, I know where to go to get the best ones, but I can't really go because a bunch of local guys are pigging out. And then,
the other day I paddled out after the shootout and it was like pretty good.
Yeah.
And
It was firing.
yeah, it was firing.
I've never seen so many guys surfing at once
That
either.
was crazy. Like I didn't get one wave that session.
I bet.
I was out there for like 3 hours.
Yeah, I wanted to go out too because then I didn't.
I asked-
didn't because the people.
Yeah.
Dude, I asked
And
Lucas.
for you.
I asked Lucas Godfrey. I'm like, "How was it?" He goes, "It was good. I didn't really get one. I got like one okay one." I was like, "Well, if you got one okay one, then I'm glad I didn't really go."
So
out
what
either.
happens when there's that many people out? It's almost like order's gone. Yeah,
It's
it's
kinda
just
gone.
whoever's lucky in the spot and
Well, I think
deep in
that
the
just goes locals, like boom. Like,
locals only.
like
But then it's like, how do the locals even like?
Yeah.
Because even I was thinking that too. Because I was like, hey, I could go out there and tax one.
Yeah.
But then I was thinking, I seen everyone. I'm like, oh, can you even
It's
tax one? Maybe
crowded,
not.
bro.
it's just like whoever's in the spot gets it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It
Yeah.
almost turns into like, because you almost can't even sit in your spot because everyone's all everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I,
it's,
sure.
I watched Sage Burke get one, and then it was like the thing was just barreling the whole time, and he was like just navigating around the crowd trying to figure out how he can get in the
in.
barrel, and then finally like checked in and got a pretty nice barrel, but like he would have got an 8-second barrel versus like a 3-second barrel. Like he was fighting for it the whole time, and I remember as the award ceremony we're going for the backdoor shootout, like I was like, bro, it's too crowded. I'm cruising, bro. I'm over that.
firing.
Oh, Jamie, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
I feel like this winter you like have like a different fire out at Pipeline
Yeah.
where like you've already gotten like a bunch of crazy waves. Like, what do you think?
What's going on?
Yeah.
You know, I'll be completely honest. I know exactly what it is, and I felt like in the last like maybe 5 years, I kind of like took a step back, but I was actually having a lot of fun just riding soft tops and like whatever. Like that's what I was just doing. Like I would go, I could tax all the crip waves that pipe like Mason does on a 7.6, but I was on a soft top. And then like whatever, like, you know, like things didn't work out with me and the soft top brand. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna ride my hard board. I'm gonna stay hard all winter, bro. And like and just kind of get back onto that normal winter grind. And it's just it just kind of goes to show you, like if I'm not on that, I feel like when I was riding the softboard, like to me it was fun, but like to other people, they were like maybe discrediting my work on how I was riding the wave. But to me, it was like this challenge.
Yeah.
But now, like riding, you know, my Takoro every swell, like I feel like it's par for the course, and I'm back on track. But also, like, yeah, I'm fired up, like for sure. Like I wanna freaking battle you and Jack and freaking Koa and Mason and all the boys, and like I want to get the wave of the winter. I want to get the best waves. I'm hungry, bro. Like just there's nothing that's changed in the last 25, 30 years. But like I think that's just the only difference is I'm riding my Takoro every surf session, and I'm pretty fired up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I put in the time, I put in the work this summer. I stayed in shape all summer. So there was like, by the time the first swell hit, I was in shape already. I was ready to rock and roll. Like I remember kind of like I remember like having to make this decision where I'm like, okay, like I can't just like Daryl out every day. Like a Daryl is like kind of like, just cruising, have some drinks in the afternoon, eat whatever I want, like kind of controlling what I'm eating, and then trying to make sure that I'm spending time in the gym to stay, you know, like confident. Because the gym, what the gym does is it gives you confidence in your work. And when you're putting out the work and you're surfing, whether it's at Waimea or Pipeline or anywhere, or it's at lowers, you're like, right, you're like going mid-turn and all you're thinking about is how much freaking squats you did or how much running you did, and you just raw and you rip the turn even more nuts. And like I think just like a lot of confidence and all that. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like it's just
They're taking you lightly when you're on that soft top,
yeah.
even though the rides were gnarly.
They're gnarly. But yeah, thanks. I appreciate that. But I mean, end of the day, it's just another winner. I'm super psyched to share it with everyone and like the likes of yourself and Mason and everyone. Like I feel like at the end of the day, like I feel like I'm a bigger team player overall now, because I felt like, you know, Mason says like everyone wants their piece of the pie. I've had my pie for, 25 years. I still want more, but I also like seeing people, get the best wave of
Get
their
a
lives.
taste.
Like Mason said, like he gave you a wave and you were just so like over the moon and pumped, and that, probably changed a lot of like your thought processing towards Mason. You're like, wow, it's sick. Mason, one of the locals, actually gave me a wave here.
That was his wave, though. And I'm no great. Yeah, I knew great wave. Yeah, that's my little buddy.
I guess a couple more questions. Here we go. Even with the friends, what really is going on like behind competitions? Like when you're like, hanging out with like Kate and like Cole and your brother, like what's happening? Is it basically the same as what we're seeing on TV?
Like on Cola Bros?
Are you? Yeah. Well, are you like meditating?
Yes.
How about this one? Are you meditating before you even just paddle out like at a normal like surf session at Lowers
Well, I meditate every morning when I wake up.
every day
Yeah.
of your life?
Yeah.
For how long?
Probably like 2 or 3 years.
Whoa.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely times where I miss it. Like it's not like
Yeah.
I've done it every day since
Yeah.
like 3 years ago, but like
For
pretty
the most
much
part.
for the most part,
Yeah.
like on it every day.
Do you go to the meditation rooms in the airports? Have you ever
I
sampled one?
actually, when I was going to Abu Dhabi, like I was this close to going into
Oh.
one of the prayer rooms.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to like mess with their
That's
culture. Like, I don't know, you know,
dude.
like,
You're the
so I
man.
just went in and meditated on the carpet outside.
Jack style, yeah. Just
In front of everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know what I wanted to ask you? One is, I mean, it might be a good question or not, but I was wondering, is there anyone like on tour that like you like it like it's sweet when you beat them, or like it like it's like, oh, that's like maybe it's like John because he's like one of the best gnarliest guys, you know, and he's a little older too, you know, or whatever. He's like I don't know. I feel like.
Yeah, well, the best guys are the ones. That
Yeah,
feel the best,
that's
for
what I
sure.
mean. The best guys feel. Is there certain guys on there that you're like, ooh, that feels good? Like maybe when you get Jack, or just seeing you guys talk to each other, is it like, ooh, that was nice? Yeah,
I definitely
Who's-
feel like Jack's a good one for sure.
feels good when you get him, or
Yeah.
who like John? Because I remember too, there's some guys who or I remember when I would compete, I'd catch a couple guys and I'd be like, oh, I'm bummed. I kind of really love that guy, or like,
Yeah,
there'd be
totally.
some guys who
Yeah.
it didn't feel good beating.
Yeah,
And then some guys
for
I'd
sure.
be like, yes.
Yeah.
Like, and some would be my buddies and some wouldn't be, you know, but
Yeah.
but is there who like,
Usually the guys that are like super confident, you know,
yeah,
or
like,
maybe like could be borderline like cocky feeling.
yeah,
Like those
exactly.
are the guys that
like, is
you
there
wanna
a
beat
guy
the
or two
most.
that feel good when you beat them, or is it just kind of pretty more or less equal? Like you're not like,
I mean, I
you
feel
don't
like
want to admit it,
like,
maybe.
it always feels good beating Philippe. Like
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
so good,
because he's a weapon.
and
huh?
Idolo and Jack and John, like Gabriel, like
Yeah,
those
just all the
guys
guys
are-
you'd almost expect, huh? It
Mhm.
feels good to beat them.
Oh,
You're
for
like,
sure.
that's sick. I
Yeah.
was wondering about that. Just because you're such a cool, mellow guy, you know, and
Thanks.
I don't know. I feel like I was wondering who was sweet for you.
But also, it would like it'll really depend. Like if Griff beat John at pipe or chopo, it would probably taste
Maybe
like
taste a
these
little better,
Yeah,
huh?
a little better.
Oh, yeah.
Or maybe like Griff beat freaking like I don't know.
Someone in their town or something.
Yeah, Gabriel
in
in
Brazil or
in
something.
Brazil.
Yeah.
That would be a sweet victory.
Yeah.
So you're like, holy shit! Like
Right.
you wouldn't even want to have a party after because like they might be
Oh,
like
they're coming for you,
headhunting you.
Wait till you get home to throw that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, those are the sickest parties, man.
For sure.
When you have to wait to celebrate. Oh,
I don't know, Brazil's pretty.
you celebrate right off the bat there.
Brazil's
That's
like
the
all in
spot.
on parties. So
Yeah.
Love
And
it.
everyone's all like pretty cool now.
yeah, they're all.
I think
super
back in
cool.
the day it was more like you get your head taken off, but nowadays it's like all love.
Yeah.
all love.
Yeah.
100%.
So sick.
Yeah.
I got a couple more questions. The trilogy, was it trilogy?
Trilogy, yeah.
Trilogy with Seth. Like how was filming that film? Was it like? I mean, to me, like that was like one of the most like probably the best film made in a long time. I really enjoyed watching it, and like I don't know, how was it making that film?
Sweet, thank you. Yeah, it was freaking insane. It was like a dream come true. I remember when I was growing up, I watched Scratching the Surface, Julian's movie,
Yeah,
and it was kind of like, showing his like childhood upbringing, and then like, all the way to then surfing with McFanning and like having his own movie on him. But this was so cool because like I had that, but I also like got to share that with Ethan and Seth
yeah,
in the same movie.
so sick.
It's like it's almost better,
Yeah.
because
Totally.
it's kind of cooler to be able to like spread the energy or the attention, It's
Yeah,
like
I love
feels
that.
better.
Yeah.
And so, but filming for it was so fun because like the amount of equipment and camera guys and like it felt like just like a high budget surf movie that hadn't happened in a long time, and like we got to be a part of that. And
With all your good friends.
yeah,
Yeah, it's so
and
sick.
like scoring waves too.
Epic,
Yeah.
epic. If you guys haven't seen that film, make sure you check it out. It's an incredible piece.
Thank you.
I think it's a piece that like hold its place in time for a long time, which those are the surf films you want to be a part of and make. Like you said, very high budget, but then also like scoring epic waves, and then with like, you know, telling a story of each surfer, and they're all your great friends.
Epic people. Yeah. Gnarly.
Yeah.
That's what we want to do. But I think we're going to end it. Thank you so much, Griff. Appreciate you, brother.
Thanks, Jamie.
Epic time.
Yeah,
Mason.
Griff. Thank you, boys.
Yeah, Jamie.
Yeah, Mason.
Cool.
Good times.
Yeah.
Thanks, Griff, for
I
coming.
look forward to coming back with Jack and doing a four banger. Huh?
Let's do this.
Let's do it.
That would be a dream.
You
man.
guys together are too funny, bro. I love it.
We loved it.
Yeah.
But
That was the meanest.
Oh,
bro.
we want to go like just jab
Get each other a little bit.
Yeah,
I know,
he's
I
like
wanna
the
see
one
him.
guy on tour that I can actually do that with.
Have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
like literally I'll tell him like I'm gonna fucking smoke you.
Yes.
oh yeah.
Where like anyone else like I don't they'll take it the wrong way or something.
Yeah.
But I can say that because he's not gonna take it weird.
Yep.
so.
And he's thinking he might even just say it back. Or he
Yeah,
will.
you gotta be ready for him to say something back, but it's like
But you're like,
it's
I'm gonna
funny,
tell
know?
you too. Yeah, no, I love that. Those are the guys I love. That's why I always liked hanging with Jack too before too, is we'd always give each other little funny ones.
Yeah, it's good when people can take
Can
it.
handle it, yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
it's gnarly. It's like
It
gets
makes it
weird. when
better.
it's not- yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, time to end it. Click right here to subscribe to the Cola Bros and the Mason Ho Show.
and
His own
Ho
show.
and Pringle over here.
Oh,
About
no, that's the one, the Ho and
over here.
Pringo.
Oh yeah, subscribe right here at the Colapinto.
And right here to watch some
And
other
then
podcasts.
Jamie and Mason Ho over here.
We're all over here.
Yes.
But thanks for tuning in another podcast. Appreciate you guys. Peace.
Thank you,
And
Jamie.
yeah,
Thank
we're
you,
out.
Griff. Yeah.